What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my NFL DFS Thursday Showdown picks. And we have a really good game here, especially from a DraftKings and FanDuel perspective. We have the Cardinals versus the Seahawks in what is going to be a very high-scoring game. Potential shootout here with the 56.5-point game total, where the Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites. Going to break down my favorite plays for the slate. Going to put out a example cash lineup as well. And if you guys enjoy my content, please leave a like. As always, subscribe if you have not yet. Would appreciate that a bunch. And we're going to get into it right now. Starting up top. And yeah, if you could fit, especially in cash, if you could fit both quarterbacks in your lineup, that would be ideal. I was messing around trying to make a cash build before this video, and it was very, very hard to do so. If I was to pick one quarterback, it would be on the Kyler Murray side, just due to the fact that he does have that rushing yard upside. He has that rushing yard floor, 11 rushing attempts in Week 10, 11 rushing attempts in Week 9, 14 in Week 7. So he is running the ball a lot. Rushing touchdown upside as well is definitely what you like from a DraftKings perspective. So yeah, give me Kyler Murray here. Definitely going to plug him in this cash build here. Obviously, a captain would be nice, but it's literally almost impossible to have Murray and captain to really dumpster dive. So I'm not going to do that for this lineup, but you definitely can, I guess, but it's really, really hard to do so. So Murray in the first spot there, going down. Russell Wilson, like I said, if you can get both of them in there for a cash build perspective, I think that's fine. For tournaments, I'm probably going to look the other way and just go with one or the other. So Russell Wilson, 11,800. I like him a lot. The dude's a beast. 29.6 DraftKings points he's averaging each week. Not such a great game last week against the Rams there, 12.92 DraftKings points. Not a great game against Buffalo, but he still did great from a fantasy perspective. So he hasn't been looking all that great as of late, but the matchups are really good here against Arizona. So I think Russell Wilson is definitely fine. Russell Wilson's stacks are great just due to the matchup and due to him being a stud. So going down, obviously, I'd love to get Hopkins in this lineup. Hopkins, fantastic matchup. This Seattle passing defense is really, really bad. Hopkins has been a beast this year, averaging 21.2 DraftKings points. Last week had that Hail Mary, which definitely did save my day from a fantasy perspective. But yeah, Hopkins is definitely in play at 10,800. He will be in some of my Murray stacks, but not in this lineup in particular. Going down, DK Metcalf. So he had a really bad game last week. Only 4 targets, 2 receptions. I think that was his second worst game of the year. His last game that was really bad was against Arizona, believe it or not, in Week 7, where he scored 4.3 DraftKings points. Going back to him here, he has a lot of upside, touchdown upside, 8 touchdowns on the year. And I like the matchup a lot. I know he didn't do great against Arizona in Week 7, the last time they played. Hopefully people are looking at that because I do expect a bounce back here. I'm plugging DK Metcalf into this first look cash build here. All right, and going down to Tyler Lockett. So another guy that didn't do so great last week. 9 targets, 11.6 DraftKings points. Again, I do expect a bounce back here against a really poor Arizona defense. And I guess I'm kind of concerned about the injury. He is questionable, but he's definitely expected to play. But I'm not overly concerned about it. I do expect him to have a really good game here against Arizona that does not have the best passing defense in the world whatsoever. So 2 really bad defenses here. It should be a high shootout game. I like the price of Lockett at 9,400. I do think he has a lot of upside. Has been playing great as of late, but as you can see in Week 7 against Arizona, 56 DraftKings points, so I do think he has a crazy ceiling, but just has not been doing all that great as of late. But so this could definitely be a breakout game. Buffalo, San Francisco against the Rams didn't do so great, but this is like the best matchup he's had in that 4-week span. So yeah, give me Lockett here. Going to plug him in at 9,400. Chris Carson is expected to play. If he does not play, it's going to open up a lot of things. It's going to open up Carlos Hyde, who is expected to play for sure. So look out for that. Look to see if Carson is playing. If he's playing, I'm not going to be interested at 8,400. I want to more so target the pass catchers like a Hopkins, like a Lockett, like a Metcalf, like a Kirk. So I'm not going to go there if he does play. If he does play, great. But if he does not play, it's going to open up a ton of things. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But Going down, and Christian Kirk is really interesting. You get a nice savings off of DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, there's a big gap in skill between Hopkins and Kirk, but Kirk has been getting a ton of targets as of late. 6 targets last week, 8 in Week 9, 8 in Week 7, has been playing really good. Had 26 DraftKings points in Week 9, 20 in Week 7, 22 in Week 6. A little bit of an off game last week against Buffalo, but really good matchup here. You can't ask for a better matchup against the Seattle passing defense, and I like Kirk a lot, so I'm going to plug him here. I think he's a fine captain as well, and we'll talk about other captain options, but Kirk is somebody I'm going to put in captain for this lineup in general. All right, so moving down, and we are at, I forgot where I was at. Kenyon Drake. So, no way, 6,200. Not all that interested in this Kenyon Drake play. I mean, he did fine last week, 16 rushing attempts, 100 yards. Seattle actually has a pretty solid run defense. I think they're going to be doing it more so through the air, and I don't really see Drake as one of those reception threats, so not really going to go to Drake at 6,200. Has definitely been a disappointment this year. I guess he has some good touchdown upside since it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I'd rather look elsewhere. Backup quarterbacks, and Chase Edmonds. So Drake came back last week, and Edmonds had 8 rushing attempts, 56 yards, 3 targets, 3 receptions. I don't hate it. At 5,600, you'll get some decent reception upside, but other than that, he's going to be splitting a lot of the carries with Drake. He's going to have to get into the end zone to do any damage to the slate here. So again, not all that interested in the running backs here on the Arizona side. Not really interested in the running backs in general for this game. I think it's going to be a lot through the air. Both teams have really, really bad passing defenses. All right, so going down, Carlos Hyde. So like I said, if Chris Carson is to miss the game, I think that opens up a lot of opportunity for Carlos Hyde here. So look out for that. If Carlos Hyde, like I said, if Carson is not playing, Carlos Hyde is a fantastic play at 5,200. But if he does play, I'm not going to be playing Carlos Hyde at that price. David Moore, another guy that I think is captain viable, 4,800, very cheap. He does have some touchdown upside, 4 touchdowns on the year. Getting a decent amount of targets each week, 3-6, 3-3. If he scores, you're fine. I think he's a decent flex option as well, just looking for that touchdown. In what should be a really high-score game, I don't think it's that crazy to say that David Moore has some touchdown potential here. All right, and then going down, Larry Fitzgerald, I guess. I mean, 4,400. You're not going to get much touchdown upside. You're not going to get much big play upside. You will get 5 targets, 8 targets, 4 targets, a couple receptions. Not doing much with those as well. 0 touchdowns on the year. Honestly, not overly interested in Fitzgerald. I think he'll score a couple points, but I don't really think he'll do enough to break the slate unless he scores, but he hasn't done that all year. I don't really expect him to do here. But the matchup's really good, so I don't know. Not the greatest play in the world. So these kickers are really interesting. In a game that has a 56.5 point game total, I do think both kickers are in play. Zane Gonzalez, 4,200. Jason Myers, 4,000. I actually like them both. Probably not in the same lineup. I think if you want to have a nice floor, sure, it's fine. But if you are attacking that tournament upside for either guy, you probably want to go with one here. For this lineup in particular, I'm going to go with the Jason Myers side there at 4,000. I do think there's a lot of upside in a game that should score high for both kickers, so I think Jason Myers is fine. Collins, I don't think he's even on the roster. I think they put him down to the practice squad, I think. Yeah, so yeah, he went back to the practice squad. So yeah, Collins definitely not in play. Greg Olsen, I don't know, maybe a 3,600, 4 targets in Week 10, 3 targets in Week 9. 5.3 draft. I just don't see him doing much. 1 touchdown on the year. He's definitely going to have to score to do anything. If I'm doing one lineup, no. If you're doing multiple lineups, sure, I guess. But Greg Olsen hasn't really been doing anything all year. And we'll talk about the value down here is really, really bad. So we really have to dig deep. But there are a couple plays I'm looking at. Both defenses, big fades on both. Both defenses are really, really bad. So Dan Arnold, 2,200. Had a decent game, I guess, for his price tag. 4 targets, 4 receptions last week, 7.4 DraftKings points. I don't hate it. I guess I think he's fine, but there's really not much down here. Andy Isabella is very interesting. So he's on the field for a decent amount of snaps. I think they said he was on the field for like 37% of snaps, which is not bad. 2,000, you really don't need much. 1 target in week 10, 3 targets in week 9, 3 targets in week 7. So going to get between like 1 to 3 targets, 2 touchdowns on the year. He's on the field for a decent amount of time. He really doesn't need much on this showdown slate. So I actually kind of like Andy Isabella because there really isn't much down here. I think he's on the field for a decent amount of time. Maybe he gets a couple catches. Maybe he finds the end zone, which would be awesome. So Andy Isabella, I'm actually going to plug him in this lineup. And really after that, like there is not much. Disley, no way. Swain plays some snaps. 30% of the snaps, 37% of the snaps, 1,200. I guess if you're really counting on him to get a couple catches, and he really hasn't done that. 4 targets, 3 receptions in week 10. Other than that, 0 receptions, 2 receptions. You don't need much at 1,200. I guess that's an option you can look at. And I guess the last person I want to talk about, Hollister, no. Homer's doubtful. So DJ Dallas, if Chris Carson does not play, DJ Dallas is just going to be plugged into my lineup at 600. If Carson plays and Hyde plays, which I do think they will, then DJ Dallas is not going to be in play for me. But yeah, look for Carson to be out. If he's out, then yeah, DJ Dallas at 600 could be a decent play there. So final look there, we have Christian Kirk at captain. I think there's a lot of upside there. I think there's touchdown upside against this really poor Seahawks defense. Kyler Murray, not much needs to be said. Rushing yard upside between him and Wilson. I would rather go with the Murray side due to the rushing yard upside and rushing touchdown upside. DK Metcalf had a bad game last week. Hopefully people will get off him a little bit. He's still going to be so high on, but yeah, I do think he has a lot of upside there. Tyler Lockett, a little bit banged up, but really good matchup here against Arizona. I like the price at 9,400. Jason Myers, I think both kickers have upside. Went with Jason Myers here, though, and then Andy Isabella, 2,000 on the field for a decent amount of time. 2,000, you really don't need much. Just get a couple catches. Maybe find the end zone. That'd be nice there. So, yeah. So that's the lineup. That's the example lineup. I don't know if I'm going with this or not. I was messing around making lineups earlier, and it was really hard to make lineups because the value is really bad. So that's about it, guys. Should be a really fun slate. Should be a really high-scoring game. And, yeah, hopefully make some money on this Thursday night. So if you have any questions, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers, and good luck on this Thursday slate.